Hello, hello. Mm. Hi, friends. This is Quinn with PTSD. While black, taking off these glasses to prevent the glare. Um, Today's meditation was really deep. It was like a connection in a way with my ancestors, and also really getting in touch with the body trauma, the trauma that my body still holds on to, and looking at the opposite of trauma being pleasure, expression, wholeness, vulnerability, connection, because trauma says, don't, no, we can't. This horrible thing has been done, and we can stay stuck with that, but we don't allow ourselves to fully just flow through that expression. So, in today's meditation, um, like the two messages that were coming up were how I have betrayed myself. I've been betrayed by others because I betrayed myself. And when I look at that, it's because I betray what I know my boundaries to be, what I betray, um, my truth, my reality. Like before this whole thing that was going on, um, I was very much so pro Black, pro women, pro people of differing abilities, and making sure that all the work that I was doing was to be of help to those communities. And it kind of flipped and instead became about getting the approval of Southern white individuals. Um, just because one dude seemed to be woke. And that's like right along in the category of what I am working for in my life, of having relationships with people who are aware of the challenges that Black people have faced, and knowing where we've been and looking forward to where we can go, you know. Um, so that was the wound. That was the betrayal. He was like fake woke. Because like once I asked the questions of dismantling white supremacy of him, he's like, I don't feel comfortable talking about that. I'm like, why is that? Okay, why is that? You want to talk about equality or claim you are a fan of equality, but you can't get into the subject of dismantling systems of oppression. That's me betraying myself. I should not have had further contact with this individual other than singing. No further contact with that individual. That's because there's just it's not part of my deep goal of where my life has been developing up to. Um, so yeah, this is a good lesson in betrayal. Um, and pleasure. There's been an absence of pleasure when doing the voice acting. At the time that my interaction with this toxic individual, um, I had been just getting into this body image, sexuality, and relationships group, and like reconnecting with my body and reconnecting with, oh, these are the messages that I received from my mother in society about women's bodies, about sexuality, and about relationships. Um, and that I've been holding on to all those old messages versus what is natural and true and honest and what I know to be true from my connection to the divine. Um, God's will for me is not the oppression and limitation that my mom and her siblings had placed upon them. Oh, or that the media would place upon women. That's not God's will for me. A large part of my healing and recovery has been about getting more in alignment with what the divine, what God would want for me to do with my mind, body, and spirit, and my energy. So, and when I say God, by the way, you guys, I say God to make the Christians feel comfortable. I'm pagan. God, goddess, divine. Excuse me, but if my divine higher power is supposed to be all encompassing, who the hell am I to limit them to one gender or one name? That's kind of the relationship that I've really developed with her over the past few years. So yeah, my communication with God is also gender fluid. Anyway, in the meditation, there's this thing of I need to name what pleases me and I need to go after what pleases me. what brings me pleasure in my life. And got a little bit of pleasure in my life yesterday. And I realized that that's all that my partner wants to do, is to bring pleasure into my life. But I'm so used to being oppressed and so used to being shut down and told that I have no needs, that I'm like, no, 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 you can't do that. I can't receive. And now that I'm learning to heal, and Scorpios are really known to be sexual and secretive, and that's the sign that we're entering um, this this month, this week, or this time of the month. So with Scorpios being secretive and sexual and sensual, it's allowing myself to receive sensuality and sexuality, and also for me to discern what is a secret and what is not a secret in my life, I think. Because sometimes I keep secrets about things that really don't matter or are not that important. Whereas, or I'm keeping secret something that I should be saying, like, especially part of this meditation was that I needed to be naked with my feelings, to be comfortable with me being uncomfortable and making other people uncomfortable. That was one of the messages from the meditation in the card pull that I had today. And I tend to just try to keep other people comfortable way too much at the expense of my own healing and my own growth. But if I'm trying to get my life in alignment with how Goddess would have me be, she's got a big ass plan for me, and it does not involve anyone else's comfort or mine. Comfort is not part of her plan for me. Um, and comfort's not part of her plan for you from me. Let me word it that way. My well-being is part of her plan, and if that includes some comfort, then yes. But I need to get comfortable with me being uncomfortable and making other people uncomfortable. So that means I got to get naked in front of you guys. I got to be vulnerable. I've got to be open and honest. And what's so interesting is, before this interruption with these individuals who I think are challenged by vulnerability and honesty, that's where I was. My relationships with my mentors was one of complete openness and vulnerability. I would make outreach calls with individuals and just be vulnerable and open. The women that I was mentoring, at the same time, we foster this space of being vulnerable, open, and honest. And so that's like part of my calling in life, is for me to be vulnerable and open, and to allow others to be vulnerable and open. And I just so happen to have betrayed that very important calling by entertaining individuals who don't know how to be vulnerable, open, or honest. And that, I'm going to say, is one of the first things that I told dude when we started talking, is that I want relationships with people who can be rigorously honest with themselves and with me. Otherwise, it's not a good fit. And I said that from the beginning. And that was my boundary. And I betrayed my boundary when I was starting to be aware that this person doesn't seem like they're being completely honest with me. And I wasn't honest with myself, too, about the things that I should have allowed or would allow from another individual. And so I'm like recognizing, okay, you betrayed yourself in this. I betrayed myself with the voice acting group that I was in with the team lead, when we first had a team call, and it had nothing to do with acting, had nothing to do with writing or creativity, which is what I wanted to do. So I betrayed my own interests and myself. So, and I continued to put time in, hoping things would get better, and then realizing, oh, this ain't going nowhere. There's nothing to be offered here. So I'm recognizing how I betrayed myself. And that is, I stay in situations that are not healthy for me for too long. That just, they're no benefit. It's empty calories. It's pasta. This was a pasta, and it was white. It was a pasta relationship. It wasn't a wheat pasta relationship. It wasn't cauliflower. It was white flour pasta relationship, y'all. Okay. And I don't eat pasta. Bread tends to go bad in our house because I don't eat bread fast enough. But I do eat carbs. I'll eat the shit out of some chips, y'all. But flour is just like one of those things that I don't care so much about it. Um, yeah. And okay, that's what those relationships were. They had no sustenance. And I was hoping to have a relationship of sustenance with the acting dude, but he really wasn't honest with himself or with me, and obviously not with others. So the spiritual component that I was hoping to have as a connection wasn't even there. So I betrayed myself. And so I need to recognize that my pleasure comes from being with spiritually open, honest, and vulnerable individuals who believe that Black lives do matter because you're talking to one. And if you don't believe that Black lives matter, because I am a Black woman and my life matters. I know the thing's backwards, but my Black life matters. I am walking in this. I have survived a concussion. I have survived a house fire. I've survived rape. I've survived a car accident. I've survived losing my home. I have survived a crap ton of stuff. So, and out of all of that comes that message that despite all these things that I have survived, my life matters. And if I'm around people who cannot affirm that my life matters, then they're not for me and I'm not for them. And I betrayed myself. I betrayed myself by putting those very important values on the side because I was nervous and had social anxiety disorder about displaying my talents, about developing as an actress. I didn't think I had any talent as a voice actress at all, but apparently for these people to go so far to attack me, I guess maybe I did. So I need to go take classes and actively pursue this. And I'm doing auditions and recordings to build my playlists for the acting sites. But I let my insecurities believe that these people, just because they had been walked into the room a little earlier than me, that they were some sort of experts when they're not even experts at themselves, at letting themselves be vulnerable and honest and being vulnerable and honest with themselves. They're not experts at that. So I was following people who did not have the experience that I was looking for. Yeah, that's my problem. I betrayed myself. Okay. Okay. Do better next time. All right. It happened, so I do better next time. That's kind of how my brain works because it's like, girl, dealing with these folks compared to all that other stuff that I've listed off is nothing. Okay. This has been nothing because my life matters and I've done everything to stay alive despite pain and roadblocks and confusion in my life. So as long as I'm moving with that statement that my life matters, then yeah, what they do doesn't matter. It's how do I respond in a way that is honoring my beliefs, my boundaries, and who I am as a person. So I just wanted to check in with that. I know this is a little long, and that's a-okay. Let me see. What were the affirmations from today? I'm willing to know the truth. I am always being guided in the right direction. I become comfortable with feeling uncomfortable and making others uncomfortable, which, by the way, I have a shirt that says get uncomfortable on my shirt design site because that's one of the big things that I was working on is getting uncomfortable. I deserve to feel free. I am freedom herself. And the divine walks beside and within me. So those are some of the affirmations from today's meditation, which was really nice. Really nice. Yeah. Oh, you thought this was going to be about just sex and kinky stuff. Well, here, I'll leave you one thing at the end. Here's some hope for you. Those of you who are survivors of rape, I experience multi-O's now. Isn't that awesome? That's so awesome. I'm finally at a point where I can receive, and I'm experiencing multi-O's. So that's cool. That's super cool. So just wanted to give you a little bit of hope around pleasure here in Scorpio season. All right, till next time. Peace.